Hey guys, welcome to my channel. On today's episode, I'm gonna recap and review episode 7 in the Assassination of Gianni Versace, the episode titled Ascent. So let's get right to it. So the episode begins in 1992 in Milan, and we're shown Gianni Versace and Donatella trying to design some dresses. And we're shown Donatella trying to actually help in the whole process. And she's trying to like add stuff, and basically she's assisting. Donatella starts throwing out ideas, specifically, a dress should be a weapon for a woman. Something like that. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. A dress is a weapon. It's like, what? And Gianni Versace is not happy because he's like, you have the opportunity to be great and you choose to assist. Now, during the fight, Gianni reveals that he's sick and that we need to face it. We need to face this situation. To which Donatella replies, what do you want from me then? I want you to grow because all of this will rest on you, on your shoulders. After that, we cut to San Diego, and thank God, because at this point in the series, I'm way more invested in Andrew Cunanan and his storyline. So I find it way more interesting. And we see that Andrew's working at a Rite Aid, Thrifty, Save-On, whatever, Walgreens type of store, and he's basically a cashier there. And we see a University of San Diego student come in, and Andrew checks him out. Like, literally checks him out. Not like, check out, but like, you know, ring him up. And then he's like, oh, I'm also going to University of San Diego. I'm just working here part-time. I'll get my PhD in no time. And the guy's like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's like I care. He then goes to his boss's office to get his paycheck, and he notices that his paycheck is really like tiny. And the boss is like, you know, I can't pay you for time you're not here. And he's like, you need a plan. And Vogue is not a plan. And we also learn that Andrew's father is not sending any money from the Philippines. Who knows if he ever was? You know, who knows if that's even true? But he tells his boss that, yeah, there's no money coming in, so he really needs, like, cash. Andrew then goes home after a long day at work, and he wants to treat himself to some ice cream. But he sees that his mom has bought that cheap tub ice cream that they sell at the supermarkets or at those big box stores, and he is not happy because he wants his Haagen-Dazs, because, you know, Haagen-Dazs is premium ice cream. It's like made in a special way. Like, that's the only ice cream that I eat also. So in a fit of rage, Andrew gets the tub and smashes it on the floor, and then in a huff, as he's leaving or going to his room, I don't know where he's going, but he actually gives his mom some money and says, you know, next time, get the Haagen-Dazs. He then gets all dolled up for a night on the town, and he goes to a gay bar and he meets Jeff there. And while he's there, you know, they're talking and stuff, and they see like all these beautiful men around. And there's one specific table in the bar with a group of guys that Andrew sees, and he wants to be part of that group. And he tells Jeff, oh, you know, I wish I had that look. And Jeff is like, it's just a look. And he's like, well, I still would like to have that look. Then suddenly he's there at the table, him and Jeff. And Jeff is talking about, you know, the being in the service. And then Andrew starts off with his lies. You know, he always tries to create a connection to whoever he's talking to. So when one of the guys, the blonde guy, says that his father works at Merrill Lynch, or he works at Merrill Lynch, then Andrew says, oh, my father worked at Merrill Lynch at the Tokyo office or the Manila office, and he was known as so-and-so from Modesto. And he just, you know, tries to always create a link between who he is and who these other people are, so that he gets, like, I don't know, accepted easier into that social group. And it works most of the time, but it just shows that he's just a liar, like constantly lying, constantly faking. He gets home after the bar, and the mom asks, you know, where do you go? So from this, I get that the mom doesn't even know he's gay. Like, she has no idea he's going out to gay bars, probably. And the mom asks, are you drunk? And Andrew answers, drunk on dreams. Oh, and I forgot to mention that while Andrew was at the gay bar, there was an older guy there that propositioned him. He left like his number on some napkin, and it was obviously to retain services, which seems to have given Andrew the idea that he could become an escort. So in the next scene, after that scene with the mother, he goes to an escort agency, and this is my favorite part of the show. And the lady that runs the agency does not mince words. She doesn't beat around the bush. She immediately asks, you know, are you Asian? Are you Latino? And he's like, well, on my mother's side, I'm this, and on my father's side, I'm that. And then she's like, yeah, but what are you? And then he's like, well, Asian American. And she's like, yeah, you know, straight men like Asian women, but gay men, yeah, they're never calling out for Asian men. Ouch. But then he's like, well, just tell them I'm Portuguese. You said I look Latino. And she's like, yeah, no, I can't do that. You know, I can't send a client an Asian posing as a Latino. She also says, I especially don't want to send them an Asian with an attitude. Even if he has a big, well, you guys know what I mean. We then cut back to Gianni Versace and Donatella, and they show us that they did collaborate and make that dress. You know, this dress that they had envisioned. And the dress, it kind of looks like an S&M dress. Honestly, my opinion on the dress, I don't think the dress is that nice looking. It looks very uncomfortable, but Donatella wears it and it causes a paparazzi frenzy. So they get a lot of publicity for that, and they're happy, especially Donatella. She's really happy. We then cut to Andrew scouring the newspaper, and they show there the photo of Norman, the guy that in the previous episode he was living with and got kicked out of. And so we know that he had been planning to meet him. He knew where he was going to be, what charity events, and so he goes to the opera the same night that Norman's going to be there, and just by chance meets him. So Norman introduces Andrew to his friends, and one thing leads to another, and they invite him over to their house. I think Lincoln's house. I think that's the guy's name. So while they're all sitting around the dinner table, Norman asked Andrew, so what brings you to La Jolla? And Andrew says, I'm in hiding. And then he goes off and tells this bullshit story about how he used to be married and he knew that life wasn't for him. And it's just such BS. It's like, God, it's like revolting. Now, I thought Norman and Andrew were going to hit it off right away, but that didn't happen because Norman actually lived in Phoenix at this time. So Andrew hooks up with Lincoln and they come to an arrangement, a weekly allowance, a stipend, and some other stuff. And of course, Lincoln agrees to Andrew's terms, and voila, a happy gay marriage. We then cut back to Milan, and we see Donatella happy about all the coverage that the dress generated. But the accountant of the Versace family says that, you know, even though the dress is getting a lot of coverage, it's not selling. This makes Donatella suggest to Gianni that maybe they should make some modifications on the dress, because even though the dress is stunning, it's not very comfortable to wear, and that they need to make clothes that people want to wear. Now, for some reason, this totally triggers Gianni Versace, and he goes crazy, and he gets some scissors and starts cutting the dress up, and he got rid of all the leather straps that were here, and then he's like, fine, is that the dress you want? Is that the simple black dress you want? And I'm like, well, yeah, that kind of looks better. It looks way more comfortable. I'm sure you'll sell way more of those. We then cut back to San Francisco, and they show us a restaurant scene where Andrew is sitting at a table with a bunch of other people, and then he sends a drink over to this guy sitting at the bar. And the guy he sends it to is David Madsen. So they're showing us that scene that they referenced in that other episode when they first met. And so he sends over the drink, and the bartender's like, oh, the person that sent the drink would like you to join them. And so David walks over there and says, oh, can I join you? And he does. Andrew takes David to the Mandarin Oriental, which is like one of the fanciest hotels here in San Francisco. And they have like an incredible view, and they have like a spectacular night. Now, after that, they show us a scene where Andrew answers the phone, and it's Lincoln on the other end of the line. And he's like, what were you doing ordering bottles of champagne? I mean, you were supposed to be in San Francisco looking for antiques, and you're ordering bottles of champagne. Do you have a secret lover? And he's like, I have an itemized bill. And basically he gets dumped over the phone. And so that beautiful money gravy train relationship is over. We then see Lincoln go to that gay bar, and he picks up some guy, some like weird guy, and he brings him home. Says he's straight, but why is it a gay bar? He says it's because he likes getting free drinks. Anyway, Lincoln still brings him home, and the guy starts freaking out after Lincoln kisses him, and he starts beating him up, and he beats him up so bad that he like kills him. And while this is happening, Andrew walks into the apartment, and he witnesses this like murder or attempted murder going on, and he's like, he just freezes there. For a second, I thought Andrew was gonna like join in on the murder and help him out. He'll be like, all right, I'm gonna help you kill this guy harder. But no, he's just like, you know, you should run. And so the guy runs. They then show us Andrew and Norman at the opera talking about Lincoln's murder and his death, and how Norman's gonna get this plaque and put it up in memory of Lincoln's death. We see Andrew trying really hard to convince Norman to leave Phoenix and move to California. And they basically start kind of negotiating, and he agrees. We're then back at Andrew's apartment, and Andrew tells his mother that he's going on a trip with Versace, even though he's actually just moving in with Norman. And he says, I'm gonna be going to, you know, Tokyo, Rome, Paris. And the mom's like, oh, that's so exciting. I've always wanted to see Paris. Like, she actually thinks she's coming along. And Andrew is like, and the mom says, you know, I can wash your clothes in Paris. And Andrew's like, Mom, I'm gonna be in a hotel. You don't, it's like, I'll have people doing that for me. I mean, this woman is totally wacko. The mom starts freaking out and going a little bit hysterical, and Andrew's like, stop it! And he pushes her against a wall, and he actually breaks her shoulder blade. And while at the doctor's office, the doctor asks, you know, how did this happen? And she just makes up some lie. She doesn't say that, you know, my son did it. My son broke my shoulder blade. And in the last moments of the show, we cut back to Milan, and Donatella tells everybody there at the Versace, the house of Versace, that Gianni has ear cancer. Because, you know, they can't say he has HIV back then, because that would, like, you know, destroy everything. And the very last scene of the episode is back in La Jolla. We're at Norman's house, but it's completely empty. And it's Andrew's job to fill it up with stuff. And that's how it ends. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this was not my favorite episode. I found it kind of dull. And at 1 hour and 17 minutes, I don't understand how they couldn't have condensed all of this into a normal 1 hour episode. Honestly, I don't feel the episode helped move the storyline forward. It just felt like filler to me. But it looks like in next week's episode, we're gonna go further back in time to his high school days. And that looks like way more fun, and we'll get to learn more about, I guess, his inner psychology. Anyways, guys, I hope you liked this video, and come back next week for episode 8 of the Assassination of Gianni Versace. I'm Moises, and I'm out.